These are the top crypto stories of the day. Memes, and more memes. Memes, are they made of dreams? We are now in the midst of a pre-sale meta. One meta just flopped. The whole coin is down. No one knows what to do. That's right. It is meme time. Let's go around the blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button right now. Let's shock the YouTube overlords and make them freak out over the algorithm just spiking in activity for Around the Blockchain, because we have three of the best guests in history, everybody. We're going to start in the green square. We have Matt Snider. It's a mutant Monday, not a manic Monday, but we don't have our mutant gear. Matt, what gives?
Guess it's got to be a meme Monday then, but it's awesome to be here, DZ.
All
Thanks
right,
for having
I
me.
thought it was a bear market for Yuga Labs. Also on today, we have Moonin Papa, and he's been having a wonderful time scalp trading these meme coins. Moonin Papa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How are you, man?
Doing great. And then I'll say he'll probably be doing great as well, because corruption seems to be down and per capita income seems to be up, and the big bankers are mad at his country. OJ Jordan, how are you doing today?
Very well. Good to join you guys.
I'm jealous because your government seems to operate at a budget surplus, and I don't know if we've known what that is since old Slick Willie days. So, I dream one day our politicians could do as well. But speaking of dreams, let's talk about the book of meme, everybody. If I could share the screen real quick. Allure of Quick Money is seeing $100 million flow into the Solana meme coin pre-sales, and it was fueled by the success of Boom, also known as Book of Meme, which were a few $100s were turned into hundreds of thousands of dollars and gains for the early investors right there. Solana is up over 1,000% in the rally in its first launch. The market cap went from essentially zero to 1.6 billion dollars everyone, with over $100 million in daily trading volume. I think it's actually much more than that. And right now, we are in the midst of a pre-sale meta. Now, a lot of viewers at home, they don't even know what the heck we're talking about. We say pre-sales. Matt Snider, could you just unpack for the viewers at home, what is a meme coin pre-sale? Is that like I'm in the store like on Black Friday? I'm jostling with grandmas trying to get a cheap crock pot? What's a pre-sale?
So I would say Black Friday is just a general sale where you have a bunch of people all trying to get into the store at the same time. A meme coin pre-sale is like when you have a party and you invite all your friends first and you tell them all to come, and then you give them all the drinks or the party favors. Remember party favors? And then all your
Power
friends
Rangers.
get together and they say, Power Rangers, absolutely. Then all your friends get together and they say, oh, let's go invite the rest of campus. And then the rest of campus come, and now they have to go get tokens, or I don't know where this metaphor went, but it's essentially just the people who get in first.
All right. Yeah, I would say that's right. Yeah, the exclusive access club. They got the wristband. They got the little thing that glows. The UV ink on the back of their hand. All right. Well, Moonin Papa, we've seen this before. The veterans of, I say veterans. This happened a year ago, right? Well, hey, we were here during the bear market, right? So there were echoes of a pre-sale meta 1 year ago. I actually pulled up a chart here. This is kind of the quintessential kicked off the meme coin craze. It was Ben coin. Yep. Now, there's a lot of history with that coin on this channel. I remember I bought the dip and sold the first peak. Felt really, really good about that. And then really, we just been kind of bleeding down and to the right ever since. If we look at just the past 3 months, it doesn't even look like people are trading it for days and days. This might even be the dead one. But Ben.eth, he would get on spaces, sometimes a little inebriated, launched Ben.eth. He sold it to someone else whom we won't mention, started another one, kind of gave it up. And I think he started a third one, like all in 40 days, 50 days. It was quite a whirlwind. And then it spawned a whole bunch of copycats. I don't really think any project is here today. What were your thoughts when the pre-sale meta hit Ethereum about 10, 11 months ago?
I missed out on that. But I'm happy to miss out on that. I think the biggest thing for me as a trader is I need to make sure that there's volume, that there's interest, and the market conditions have to be right for me. So thinking about a year ago, actually wasn't that bad, but it was still like PTSD bear market. if we think about February or March 2023, like Bitcoin had already come up from what, 16.5 or 16,500 all the way up to about 20,000 or so. So it felt like this nice lift, but there was still like all of the tremors from FTX fallout, Celsius, BlockFi, 3 Hours Capital. So seeing these meme coins kind of pop is like, huh, good job, guys, way to go. But I'm not going to touch that right now. But right now, given the fact that we're just a month shy away from the Bitcoin halving, things feel incredibly bullish. The market, the emotions in the market are just going crazy right now. So for me, right now seems like the most logical time to be a little bit more risky, taking some positions in altcoins. But back then, no, I didn't touch Bitcoin and just didn't. Yeah. For several reasons.
Let me be clear. There was a contract migration, everybody. It switched over. I have the new one. So you can see when it was flat, there was no trading activity. That was after they switched. So this is the max chart. I don't mean to laugh. This is the max chart for Ben right now. So if you're wondering, yeah, you know, hey, there's some periods you could buy where you're in the green now, but I think it's safe to say the majority of the people a little underwater on that one. All right. Well, OJ, I want to ask you, you know, there's people at home. They want to participate in this. They want the next BOEM. They want the next Doge. They want the next Sheeb. They're willing to throw, you know, hey, I'll throw you half a Solana. I'll throw you $100 here and there. Let's give the people some tips. Or maybe it's avoid them all. That could be the tip. What is your criteria when it comes to a pre-sale allocation?
You know what? It really depends on when you are getting in. I would say right now, it's kind of a safe bet because we are in such a strong bull cycle already that pretty much anything you throw money at goes up after, you know, some time. Some of them very quickly, some of them take a bit longer. But I mean, early in the bull cycle, you're kind of safe, even though nothing is really safe. But of course, if it depends on when you're jumping, because if we were talking about this last year, I would agree. I would avoid it altogether. I am jumping in some pre-sales right now. I like pre-sales that don't have a very long vesting period. This is one of the tips that I would give, because even though vesting period is good, you know, for not having all the tokens being dumped on the market very quickly. At the same time, you don't really want a very long vesting period, meaning you don't want your tokens, you don't want to be waiting for these tokens to arrive after 2 years. And some of the pre-sales have this kind of vesting period, or a year even, because 2 years from now, we are going to be in a bear cycle, most likely. I expect that we're going to complete this bull cycle by mid next year at some point. And you don't really want to be getting your tokens during a bear cycle, because then there's no profit. So some period, vesting period is okay, but not a very long one. You know, 3 months, maybe 6 months of a vesting period is all right. This way, you know that there's not going to be a sudden dump of the tokens. But yeah, this is one of the tips. I mean, there's quite a few things that you need to consider. You need to consider fundamentals and team and then community. Is there enough hype about the project? If you want to really make a profit from this, you need to have some level of hype. You need to have the community buzzing about it and talking about it. So ideally, you're going to be jumping in a project that already has created some sort of interest and, you know, community. So these are just the first few tips that I can give. I mean, there's many other things, but, you know, on top of my head, these are the first things that come to mind. You want the team to be, you know, experienced. You don't want someone who's just coming out of the blue and creating a token, and just because they have a big following, they can create a token. We've seen that happen already. You don't want an influencer to be starting a token. That's not really something that I would ever jump into. Yeah.
All right. Really good tip right there. I think your first tip was the best tip. Timing it. The timing is the most important part, because you brought up vesting schedules. Just for the viewers at home who don't know exactly what a vesting schedule, it is a release calendar for your tokens. And so your vesting might say no token hits your wallet for 12 months. And then over the next 12 months, you'll get, you know, that 8% every month there. So, you know, you might not be able to sell that last token for 2 years. And so you really need a time, you know, let's assume the 4-year Bitcoin hype cycle, you know, kind of stays intact. A 2-year vesting at January 22, let's say maybe not terrible. 2-year vesting today, I wouldn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. And even January 22, you're probably gonna have inflated prices. So really, it's a tough to time exactly. Well, I want to share a couple posts here from X. Rug Shark, Manlets. Hey, Short Kings in the chat. We don't mean any offense here. Manlets about to find out what happened with the ETH presale meta beanie from a beanie tweet. And then we have Zach XBT watching the presale meta happen again after taking down Ben.eth 1 year ago today. And then that leads us to this story right here. What are we talking about? The newest F-up slurf token. Incredible things are happening in the presale meta. Guys, I effed up. No, this isn't hangover. Guys, I effed up. I burned the liquidity pool and the tokens that were set aside for the airdrop. This was millions of dollars. Mint authority is already revoked, so I cannot mint them. There's nothing I can do to fix this. I am so effing sorry. OF. People are saying we should have airdropped before the LP. If people own the tokens, then there is no LP. It means they can't start their own LP, then remove it after it pumps. It is not safe. This is the safest possible launch. So quite the screw up right there. Looks like it was over $10 million were sent to a burn address. That's right. He wasted $10 million. Just had the quote right there. Meanwhile, the token soared 745%. Now I got to go to Dex Tools. Here, we can share my screen here. This is a good little tip for people. Not EDX Tools. That's probably it's going to have you raving in a warehouse somewhere. No, Dex Tools. You go to dextools.io. You can find the hot pairs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not trending. It's surprisingly not trending right there. Then you type in the token and you'll see multiple. And so you want to make sure you find the right one. And then typically you could do that by the liquidity pool size. So liquidity, $105 million. Lets you know it's not going to be the one with $5, $5,000. Those are going to be wrong. So we click on this. This is the price action for Slurf today. Oh my God. Folks, look at that. So imagine jumping in on that first minute. You had a huge gain. I'm actually about to measure it. Let's not even say the bottom of that first minute. These are 3-minute candles. Let's say you came in late. You're 10 minutes after the token is live, and you experience a cool, casual, Jesus Christ, 17,000% pump. Meanwhile, it's down now, kind of trading sideways. Maybe it found its footing there. All right, well, let's just unpack this whole... Matt, what were your thoughts with this saga that reads like some sort of telenovela?
I feel like I need a cigarette, quite honestly, after like watching that whole drama that you just showed unfurl. It's just interesting to see, and I can't admit to participating in this, one, because I'm not lucky enough or smart enough to like understand what any of this really is or how to time it, like they've been talking about. And it just seems like some of this stuff happens like in the dead of night when people are sleeping, and it exists for like 30 minutes, a flash in the pan, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's down 70%. Oops, I burned the contract. Like, I know most of you paying attention are not really looking for the pragmatic advice here. But when DZ put up, name your top 3 meme coins, my top 3 meme coins were stop buying memes. So that's where I really sit in this space. I'm a pragmatic investor looking to grow wealth sustainably for the long term, not wrong term. So if you want to get in that set, that's kind of how I go about it. But this is just astonishing to see, and not at all surprising. It's stuff we've seen over and over and over again.
Yeah, to Matt's point, it launched at 3:30 a.m. So if for most Americans at least, unless you're staying up late, playing video games, working a night shift, meth addiction, whatever it might be, most people are probably they end up missing out on that. Moonin Papa, you're Japan time, Tokyo time. I don't know if you saw that when it launched. I want to ask you a question about it though. First, what are your thoughts? But was this whole scheme marketing, do you think?
It's a really good question. I honestly thought about that when I saw this story unfold on X yesterday. It's an expensive ad campaign, I'll say that for sure. But, if you really want a lot of eyes on your project, I mean, we kind of saw that with the Balaji technique where he was betting that Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million by, in a
follow up. Did you believe him sincerely, or was that marketing?
Well, I did believe that he thought that would happen. As I started
in 30 days?
Unpack that story.
in 30 days? Because I believe his whole thing was like, it's going to happen in 30 days. That's what got a lot of people.
That's right. What? That's right. Yes, but because of all that, and I think he did put money down and he lost, obviously. But the whole point of that, again, was a marketing campaign for himself, which was brilliant, and it worked really well, although I don't see him on my feed anymore. But in the same way, I mean, this is a much steeper bet to get a lot of eyeballs on your project. So I honestly think it's a mistake. I don't think it's a marketing campaign. If it is, it went way. It's not just like going into the ditch. It's like the ditch rolls over into like Koopa Troopas that have spikes on their shells. They get into the lava spins around, it shoots into a volcano, goes into the atmosphere, and you freeze in space, kind of death. Like it's pretty bad. 10 million burned doesn't sound like a oopsie kind of accident.
That's a lot. That's a heck of a fat finger. To his credit, I did a little digging. He said, "Oh, I was burning all the S coins that people sent to the address. I'm just burning S coins, and I did the liquidity pool tokens too." That's what he said. Now, OJ, I want to ask you, obviously there's a lot of people talking about it. You saw that candle, 17,000%. So if it was marketing, this is all a ploy. Was this a genius move? He's crazy like a fox, or is this a smooth-brained idiot who maybe got lucky?
I think it's the latter, but also I have a feeling that that mistake, if it's really a mistake, was beneficial in the end because he burnt a liquidity, a big liquidity. So he created scarcity in a way, if I'm right. Because I didn't really go very deep into the case, but what I feel is that he created scarcity, therefore it helped for that pump. But I mean, with meme coins, it's such a pump and dump. I don't understand when people are investing in meme coins. I understand if you just play them, quick, getting, in and out and everything, a quick kind of a swing trade or something. But people investing in meme coins, I still don't get it. Why? I am a bit old-fashioned. I like fundamentals.
All right. Well, speaking of fundamentals, let's see. Moonin Papa, you do a little trading, so I'm going to throw this one at you. Heck, I threw up slurf. I couldn't help but notice. I was like, wait a minute, are we setting a trend? I threw up a line. I know this is the 3-minute candle. Yeah. It's a 4-hour-old coin, or not even. It's 13 hours. So we don't really have much TA. We can't pull up the daily. We can't pull up the weekly. We can't pull up the 4-hour. Would you scalp trade this?
Yeah. No, I definitely would scalp trade this chart. Like, it's the main thing is that I look for in a chart when I'm scalping. And this is not financial advice. This is just how I've been trading them, is if I can zoom in on really the 1-minute time frame, or the 5-minute time frame is a little bit safer. And this is crazy. This is scalping, okay? But if on the 1-minute time frame, if a chart's making moves of 2% or more consistently, then there's liquidity there, and there's also a lot of price activity, which is great, both buying and selling. So for a chart,
Or go ahead.
Okay, so for a chart like that, like definitely, I would jump into a chart like that to trade it, but I'm never, ever, ever putting everything into a trade. Never, ever, especially on these. Like, I'm using a fraction of my portfolio to trade, even if I'm using leverage. So I think Slurf's available on Bybit. So I was trading BOEM on Bybit, which is great, but I was making sure to use appropriate position sizing, and I was also using DCA, as crazy as that sounds, but it was working beautifully. The other thing I'll say is that if you're going to be trading stuff like this, you have to take profits, even if it's just a little bit. If you want to let some ride, good for you. But if you don't secure profit, might as well just donate your money, because you just saw the chart. It moved up 1,800%, and then it dropped. It retraced about 80% in about the same amount of time. So it could have found its bottom, but if you don't take profits when you're trading, especially if you're scalping on stuff like this, it's just complete unknown. It's even more risky, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, full disclosure, folks, I took profits off BOEM. I sold a little this morning. I don't even want to tell you what I did. I bought a little slurf. I didn't catch the exact bottom, but again, it's just some extra profits. And I put some profits into Solana. You said degens are buying it. I'm actually like laughing at how small some of these buys are. It's just the power of Solana. $4 buy right there, $20 buy, $13 buy. There's a couple Deej at $21. I mean, hey, $3. Some people are having fun, trading their lunch money. Then you got this whale dumping $20,000 on you. So just be careful when you're 3 cents. That had to be a Mev bot or something, or I don't know, or a Soul bot or something. But so clearly, I mean, the volume's going nuts. Even if it's small dollars amounts, $30,000, 30,000. A whale's buying. Maybe that's an exchange. All right, so a lot of fun is being had. So slurfs up to the meme coin traders right there. Cowabunga, dudes, is all I'll say. All right, now let's go to the scariest story. This one also related to all what we've been talking about. We got a theme today, folks. It's all, are your memes dreams or are they nightmares? Maybe it's a wet dream. I don't know. But Binance offering a $5 million reward for insider trading tip-off. What is the token? Boom. It looks like a whale bought 314 million tokens. It doesn't really mean anything if you don't know the price. But yeah, they bought a lot of boom. And then Binance is offering a reward to find who it was in case it was an employee. $5 million reward if you can snitch on who had the inside info on Bohm. All right, found the dollar amount, $2.3 million right there. And then they bought that right before it was announced that Bohm was going to be listed on Binance. After the listing, the value of the tokens pumped to around $8 million. So 2.3 into 8, sparking the rumors of inside traders. Looks like Reddit is running with that. Hey, is this a lucky trade or insider tip? Others are floating the trader could be from Binance. Now, Binance says it launched an investigation related to the Bohm, and they're saying we can't identify it. And then, if anything, they're actually kind of alluding that it is not a user member. To me, that's alluding that it was a Bohm team member, maybe running with that information right there. Now, before we get it, let's just, you're Mr. International over there, OJ. I want to ask you, we live in our bubble in America. I want to ask you, is there some shadowy cartel, maybe international, who has all this inside information and they're just dumping on retail?
That has been a theory that's been floating around for a while. I'm not completely against that theory. I would assume that it depends really on different communities, though, because in Bitcoin, we know that there were even clubs, the 5, what was it? The 5,000 or the 50,000 club, whatever it was, however many Bitcoin you have, you can belong to a club. So you can actually network with other people that have this kind of...
Yeah, you can coordinate with the whales and,
yes,
pump and
exactly.
dump.
And it's been happening in the past. Now, recently, I don't really know how it works with all the different communities and stuff, but I would assume, and Binance has been accused of being part of a cartel anyways, because for many years, they were the leading exchange. They couldn't be touched. Now, Binance has been having a lot of countries take actions against them, restricting them, kicking them out and everything. It's, I think, now 13 countries overall, and they have to be really careful at this point. I'm a little bit, for me, it's strange to hear this case again, because just a month ago, in February, I think, they offered $5 million bounty for an inside trading rumors again. They wanted to find out who of their members could be doing insider trading related to Ronin. So at the time, they were just listing the Ronin token, and they had a huge dump of the token, and it sparked these kind of rumors. They announced $5 million bounty. We didn't hear what happened with that, whether they found anyone or anything. And now they're doing the same thing. They're having another problem, and it's the same kind of thing. And they're announcing another $5 million bounty. This is very suspicious to me. I don't understand. And definitely they have insider trading. I mean, it's very easy for members of the team to at least speak to friends if they're not doing it themselves, so they don't expose themselves. They can at least tell friends. But that is difficult to prove. But it is very dangerous for Binance, because they could be legally, I mean, if they get challenged legally, they might be having to pay far more than 5 million. And the fact that they're announcing a 5 million bounty just tells you that the litigation, legally they could be charged far more than that. So there's smoke. When there's smoke, there's usually fire, which means that most likely this is the case.
All right. Well, there's smoke, there's fire. Binance having all types of issues. I don't know if you saw executives detained in Nigeria. So, they probably want to cross their T's and dot their I's lately. Just say, hey, we're not trying to ruffle any legal feathers right now. Now, Matt Snider, let's pretend you are Matlock. All right. So after you're done seducing the older viewers, the reason I choose Matlock, you kind of have that gumshoe detective from the 40s look. I feel like you could be cast as a Dick Tracy type, oh, the dame came into my office and I knew it was one-of-a-kind case. That type of situation here. So if you were to throw on your Sherlock Holmes detective cap right here, what do you think happened here? I know this is all speculation. We're not saying, it's not legal advice. But what's your 2 cents, Matt?
It's 100% CZ. And the reason why Binance can't figure out who did it is because he's nowhere to be found, and he got knocked out of the company. So much for the blockchain being transparent, right? Like maybe they used an incognito window or they used some web URL obfuscation, but like, isn't this stuff supposed to be super transparent? Like, isn't the point of all this so that we know where this is coming from and what wallets these go to? I just find all that kind of ironic because I thought that was kind of the point of all this. I'm putting on my hat and thinking to myself, it's definitely got to be CZ. It's definitely got to be the person who put out the tweet in the Binance room saying like, I hope nobody finds out. Let's go figure out who this is. That's typically where I would start.
Okay, so the left, I don't want to say, the playbook that you often see, a common psychological trait, they accuse you of what they do, aka, oh my God, it's been so long since I took a psych class, not sublimation, what is it called? Projection. Is it projection?
Yeah.
I believe so. Because, hey, what do they say? If you point your finger at someone, you got 3 fingers pointing right back at yourself, folks. So just something to think about. All right, well, we'll wrap it up with this question. Moonin Papa, so he's Sherlock Holmes. You're Doctor Who, right? You get to regulate this. Should this be illegal, or is this all part of the game? Doesn't Wall Street do it?
Right. Yeah, it's kind of funny that, and I also think it's interesting that Binance's scale is like $500,000 to $5 million. So like, how do you justify that the larger amount?
Well, if it's the janitor, they're going to only give you $500K. If you get CZ, that's when you get the $5 million. God, I would love to be a janitor at Binance. I'd be looking at every screen. Yeah. Don't mind me. Anyway.
What was the original question? I'm just imagining you as a janitor going through screens and just going like, oh, my eyes.
Like, why is this guy cleaning the spot behind my chair over and over again as I'm like doing the liquidity pool tokens for our new listing? Yeah. No, the question is, should it be illegal?
It should. I mean, well, yeah, it should be illegal. Just because it's crypto doesn't mean that it's detached from the rules of the world and the world of finance. I mean, if crypto wants to play with the big boys, you have to play by the big boys' rules. I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but as we get more widespread adoption, as we see big names pouring money specifically into Bitcoin first, but there's going to be a trickle-down effect. But as long as stories like this keep happening, it's definitely going to hurt Binance long-term, and it's going to draw more undeserving bad attention from the SEC, especially a senator who has a fantastic meme coin named after her, pointing fingers at Binance next. So if they want to play by the rules and join with the big boys, swim with the big boys, yeah, you have to follow the laws. Like insider trading is a no-no. But we also have all of these, we just talked about all these pre-sales, right? I'm sure a lot of the founders of these tokens, they're trying to sound like these upright and very generous people. But I can't imagine some of them seeing their tokens, go from 0 all the way up to $1 and not wanting to sell some too, right? So I think greed does play a factor in it. I think everyone has a price when it comes to this stuff. So if there aren't firm rules with actual consequences tied to them, I think we're going to see more of this continue.
Everybody has a price. What would you do for 1 Bitcoin? Says Moonin Papa. I do want to read a couple questions. Quick question for Matt. What kind of cigarette would you need afterwards? Regular kind, menthol, jazz?
So this is where I say, like, not that I'm a smoker, but like I feel like a parliament would be a good idea.
A P fund.
Parliaments are a P fund because parliaments are also used for additional party favors. So I've heard.
All right. I like that one. I'm up 5x on Cock Inu, $400 to 2,000. Should they rotate out? You know, since we're talking about memes, I figured let's just. I would say hold some, put some maybe into Avalanche or a top Avalanche DeFi project. You go to DeFi Llama, check some of the stats under Avalanche. I think you can find some strong projects with high TVL with maybe low market caps. Would you say that's a fair? Are y'all saying YOLO, sell none, sell all, take profit? What do you guys say? Then we'll wrap it.
Some. I mean,
profit,
I would, if that person, you know, making 400% on the trade, at least sell like 25% or so. That way I mean, if you can sell enough to earn back what you've invested, let the rest ride for sure. Because I mean, we've seen so many of these tokens just shoot up tens of thousands of percent. Not saying it's going to happen with this token, but if you've made back your money, just let it ride. I mean, this is a crazy time right now.
OJ, what would you say? Avalanche, one of the hottest coins right now, one of the few green spots in the top 100. That's the top meme on Avalanche. I mean, what's your profit strategy? You're up 5x on your Cock Inu.
I'm taking profits. Yeah, when I see pumps, I'm taking profits. I don't exit all of the positions. It's not really a fixed rule. I can't tell you whether I would sell 20%, 30% or more. It would really depend on the token and everything. But I would always lock in profits at bigger pumps. And later I might reaccumulate, or more often lately, I'm actually just getting other tokens, just distributing the funds to something else, something that hasn't quite pumped yet, maybe.
Okay. All right. I think that's good advice. Hopefully that helps some of you meme coin traders. You got $1,000 out of nowhere. You don't know what to do with it. Should I just write it to Valhalla? Well, you saw some of those candles to the downside. So, you know, you never go broke taking profits, and you can never go broke hitting that like button, everybody. I heard if you hit the like button, you will quadruple your portfolio by the end of the year. It's just math, everybody. But that's all we got time for. I think it was a great episode. Make sure you go check out the links below. We have links for all the guests on. They're all putting out really, really good content all the time. So I highly recommend. I want to make sure you're all following them. That's all we got, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.